Fox 26 Morning News Extra. Connected to you.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us on Fox 26 Morning News Extra. I'm Natalie Bombke. Tens of thousands of people followed a local toddler as she fought and lost her battle to cancer. Layla Grace has become somewhat of a household name, so you can imagine how hard it was for her family to lose her, for any family to go through something like that. Here's Melissa Wilson with a story of bravery that's inspiring so many others.
Good morning to you. Yeah, we want to show you a program. We want to show you a program at Texas Children's Hospital that helps young ones deal with tough situations like death. It can be so hard on those little ones. It's all part of our partnership with Children's Miracle Network.
Like many children, Layla Grace was a happy, healthy baby. She added many joys to her family's life, and her older sister Jenna adored her.
She was so cute, and she always wore her hats, her little beanies, and her flower.
Then a surprising illness when Layla Grace was 16 months old.
She just kind of stopped eating, and it was because the tumor inside her belly was so large that it was blocking her intestinal tract.
Doctors at Texas Children's Hospital diagnosed little Layla with high-risk neuroblastoma, the most common cancer in infants. The odds were against her.
The survival rate for high-risk neuroblastoma is less than 30%.
To help deal with this terrifying news, the Marshes began a blog.
I remember there was a time where we would look at the number of followers that she had on Twitter, we almost didn't believe it.
Before they knew it, tens of thousands of people across the world were offering support and praying for Layla's life to be spared. Throughout it all, Jenna battled her emotions and the thought of losing her baby sister.
And that feels painful.
Jenna's parents are relieved that Texas Children's Hospital offers a program where a child life specialist helps her figure it all out.
She's helped me think of some ways to get out of our anger out, and that's helped me.
With Jenna, it was really making sure that she understood where Layla was in her journey of treatment for cancer, and making sure that Jenna understood in an age-appropriate way and was able to express any questions or fears that she had.
Spin it, spin it.
The Marshes try to provide normalcy for Jenna, but it's tough. Layla Grace died in March.
We feel like she was an angel on loan to us for just a little while.
Now the Marshes are making sure that Layla Grace's name lives on.
She's touched so many lives, and she's going to continue to touch lives because we're going to carry on her legacy, and we're going to try to support families and support research.
The Marshes began a foundation in Layla's name. They want researchers to find a cure for this devastating disease. To find out how you can help a child with this cancer, go to the Health tab on myfoxhouston.com. We're here with Layla's dad this morning again to talk about their struggle with this disease and how they're working to honor their daughter's name. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Ryan. I know this has got to be so hard for you. This only happened to your family a month ago. When I first talked to you, you described when she was first diagnosed like a car crash, and I'm sure since the funeral it's probably sort of been the same emotions for you.
It, you know, at first we were in a fog, but folks who'd been through this before, other parents told us that it really starts to get hard, the hardest about 3 weeks out, and yesterday was exactly 6 weeks since she passed, so it's still very raw for us.
You have two young daughters who are trying to deal with this. How have you found the strength yourself to mourn your own loss, but at the same time try to provide normalcy for your daughters?
Well, we try to spend as much time with them as we can, and we talk to them about we talk to them about Layla, but most importantly, Texas Children has been doing a lot to help our oldest, Jenna, deal with and learn about loss and to understand it. in the way that a child could.
When I was there, I was so touched by one thing that she asked the child life specialist, and she said, I can't help it, but I get really angry with God because I feel like he took my sister. And then she went on to describe to her, you know what, that's what God does. He makes us, and then he brings us home, and she's where where she belongs now. Would you have the answers for that? Does Texas Children's really help you find those answers?
They do, and the children actually ask questions that you or I just wouldn't ask. They ask really hard questions, and having someone like Brianna, for instance, really has made a huge difference because she talks to children like this all the time.
I am so impressed with you and how brave you and your wife are, and the fact that you are making a huge difference now. You've started a foundation. Tell us a little bit about that, and then how you do plan to make a difference with it.
Well, so the Layla Grace Children's Cancer Research Foundation is focused on a couple of things. First of all, it'll be to raise funding to research new therapies because neuroblastoma, the disease that Layla had, has a survival rate below 30%. It's really bad news for these kids. And on top of that, we'd like to find ways that we can touch the lives of children and families that are going through this treatment.
And you have some events coming up?
We
what
do.
Are those?
There's one called the Taste of Sci-Fair. It's going to be June 13th, and there's going to be 40 restaurants from the northwest side of town, and they're all going to get together, and people will be able to sample food and look at local businesses and things from around the community, and we're all going to come together, and it'll be a lot of fun for the kids, bands, and the bouncies. And
raise money, have fun, and make a huge difference, and hopefully someday find a research for this. Thank you so much. We need a cure for the disease, and we really appreciate all that you're doing to come out in the community.
Thank you.
You're so brave. Well, it can be hard and even scary for a child to undergo medical treatments. Texas Children's Hospital has a program that walks little patients through everything they'll experience from A to Z.
So when it's time for surgery, you'll go to the holding room with your mom and your dad, and you'll meet these people.
Molly Moore is a child life specialist at Texas Children's Hospital. She helps kids feel comfortable and even happy in their hospital setting.
And that's when you talk to the doctors and the anesthesiologist. And do you remember what he does?
What's this on your face? And,
yeah.
And then he says, you'll be asleep soon.
You're right.
Research shows that children can cope much better with expected stress rather than unexpected situations. Molly uses this doll as a teaching tool. Emily even knows what an IV is.
There's this tube at the end of it, and you put medicines in it to make you feel better.
Oh, you are so smart. You have learned a lot. Are you ready for your surgery?
Yeah.
And she gets a surprise after surgery's out, right?
Right.
Emily has been in the hospital for weeks, undergoing treatments and procedures for scoliosis.
When you wake up from surgery, you will have a bandage right over here. And we'll tell them that you want pink, right?
Right.
It's been a long road, but Emily says Molly makes everything much easier.
You're the best child life specialist ever.
Thank you. That was really sweet.
After surgery, a distraction station is wheeled into patients' rooms at Texas Children's, which includes fun activities they enjoy from their beds to keep them distracted, which is a natural pain management. Brianna Hopkins is a child life specialist and joins us this morning from Texas Children's Hospital. You guys just do some amazing things. I had so much fun and learned some things from you. You brought one of those legacy dolls. We've got some interesting tools to show us. This little guy right here helps you a lot.
Yes, this is a teaching doll that I actually use almost every day to teach children at Texas Children's about what a portacath is. So this is used just to show them what it is before their surgery. They get to feel it and look at it, and that way they can explore what they're going to be waking up with after their surgery.
And what about this? Let's take a look at some of the goodies inside of here. It's a bone, but there's some stuff inside of there as well.
This is a teaching bone that I use to teach children about cancer and their diagnosis, and it has cells inside. So we talk about red blood cells and platelets, and we also have white blood cells. So it teaches them about the cells that they're going to be learning about. out.
When you're talking to a young patient, they couldn't possibly understand what you're talking about, but when they see something visual like this and they know that this is going on inside a bone, inside their body, it just makes everything fall into place and make sense.
That's the biggest part of our job, is helping these children to understand in an age-appropriate way what's happening to them at the hospital. Just preparing them as much as we can and educating them as much as we can so that they can cope well.
Well, when I was talking to that precious little patient, Emily, she was telling me that you know, there was nothing scary at all about being in the hospital. She didn't even mind needles. We don't hear that from any child. They're scared to death of needles, so it does make a big difference.
It does. It definitely impacts children and helping them cope with every step of their hospital journey. So that's just what we want, is to make sure that they can cope and keep developing on track while they're in the hospital.
One thing I was really impressed when I was taking a tour with you guys is you all sort of have the same disposition. You child life specialists, you just are so calm and peaceful and just so nurturing to the children. Don't you feel like it's a calling that you are making a huge difference in all these kids' lives?
We hope that we're making a huge difference, but I believe that it is definitely a calling. We all really feel driven to do this and driven to help children with such a traumatic experience, because hospitalization for a family as a whole is very traumatic, whether it's having your tonsils out or a new cancer diagnosis. For every family, that is an emergent situation.
And you've learned a lot from the patients as well, so it goes full circle in this situation.
It's a very rewarding job, and every day I feel blessed that I get to do it, because I learn so much from the families and from the children, and just feel honored that I get to work with them, because they are so amazing and teach us so much.
And you were blessed to get to work with Layla Grace,
yes.
and unfortunately I never got to meet her, but just seeing her pictures, she was such a precious little girl, and I know you had to be blessed by working with her family. Yeah. Does it help to have parents like hers, like Ryan, who we just spoke with, who are so open-minded about receiving your help?
Definitely, and I've told Shanna and Ryan several times how impressed I have been by their approach to Layla's death and dealing with Jenna and the siblings, because a lot of parents, that is just, for all parents, it's a very impossible, difficult time, but they've approached that situation with such grace and just openness to how do we care for our other girls just as best as we can.
Well, you guys do some amazing things over at
Thank you.
Texas Children's Hospital, and what a blessing to be partnered with you guys in the Children's Miracle Network. Thanks for coming in today, Brianna.
Thank you.